we're rolling.
Welcome to episode 30 of Tangled Rights.
With your host, Justin W. Wilson.
Merry Christmas, Merry Chrysler, Happy Holidays, Raiders. Go Raiders, they suck, but...
Yeah, not as bad as the fucking... Sorry, Hannah. Not as bad as the Cowboys.
They are worse than the Cowboys, but...
Are they?
Yes, they have two wins. They're in line for the first pick in the draft.
Okay, cool. We might have had
Raiders
more than 2 wins, but it's been a rough 25 years, man. So, at least you got to have them, like, move here. What have I gotten?
I didn't like
Nothing.
them. I didn't like them before they moved here. I like them because they're
You're
here.
one of those. Okay, cool. Never mind.
Well, they moved to my city. Why wouldn't I adopt them?
City.
Well, okay.
Where's the key? If it's your city, where's the key? Present it right now.
Welcome to Tangled Rights.
got the key?
This is not legal advice. Consult your local attorney.
This isn't any kind of advice.
We're here for fun and talking about legal stuff because we are licensed attorneys in the state of Nevada. Justin is also
Kansas. Thank you.
licensed in Kansas. So we talk about law generally here on our podcast. We like to have fun. We're chill guys.
I like to party.
We're chill guys.
Drinking a Pepsi.
So
Not endorsed, but if they wanted to give us money, we would totally endorse them.
Not yet.
It's refreshing. And I think a Kardashian stopped a riot with one once, right?
Kendall Jenner.
Huh?
Kendall Jenner.
Isn't it the same thing?
At this point, yeah.
No, seriously, they're sisters, right?
Yeah.
they're half sisters.
They were born in sin, so they have like different names or something?
No, same mom, different
mom,
dads.
Oh,
Your
Yes,
dad didn't help OJ.
because Caitlyn Jenner or
Bruce Jenner.
Chris.
Bruce Jenner at the time
Chris
was
Jenner.
the father. Yeah, of these.
Chris Jenner is
So
the mom, right?
Chris is the mom, but she
Short-haired-
was Chris Kardashian.
Short-haired
before.
gal, right?
Yeah.
Rob Kardashian.
Yes. That's this.
I'm
half
tracking now. Lifestyles.
It is what
Anyway,
it is.
stop a riot, drink a Pepsi.
We don't talk about the Kardashians much. We talk about the law. So
Sometimes.
we do because Kim Kardashian is entering her 7th year of law school. So
Actually?
she is. So
Mine was only 3. I was on the accelerated plan.
What's the average for?
No, it's 3. It's always 3.
it's 3
Or
full-time.
it's 2.
It's 3 full-time. Barack Obama pushed that it should be 2 years, which I would have loved just 2 years of law school. But the 3rd year, you just kind of are hanging around and doing kind of elective classes.
Skulking around the atrium,
Some of them.
smoking a joint, trying hard not to see Joe Biden when he comes in and get harassed by his
At
Secret
Syracuse
Service.
Law?
Yeah, he came in. It wasn't my 3L year, it was my 2L year. I walked past him and I would have honestly probably said, "Hello, Mr. Joe Biden," but I don't know what he was at the time. But there were so many people there that I was just like, man, not worth it.
Vice president, right?
It would have been 2016, so
Yeah.
On his way out.
on his
He
way
would
out.
have
Yeah,
been-
okay, cool. But anyway,
his
I was
last
like,
year, yeah.
I was like, I would have probably went and been like, hey, you're on the news sometimes. I know who you are. Good job. But there were so many people I just didn't give a shit.
Justice Scalia came to my law school when I was there, and I didn't care at the time. I didn't even go.
Wow.
Obama came to my high school. I shook his hand.
Obama?
Obama pissing me off.
It was my senior year.
That's the South Park quote, folks. I didn't come up with that.
Came to my school. I did.
Why?
He was campaigning for. It was the.
At a high school?
Because Nevada's a hotbed,
They
dude.
were
We're
just there again. Kamala was just there a few weeks ago at my high school.
oh, what high school is that?
Cheyenne.
High
How'd that work
School.
out for him?
He won every time. Obama did.
Well, no, Kamala didn't.
Kamala didn't.
Did not win Nevada.
Maybe Cheyenne High School used to have clout and pull, but now it doesn't because you're not there anymore. So now no one's paying attention because Mr. Alvarez isn't there to really tell the people what they need to know.
Oh, we gotta have Austin on to talk about our win. We considered it a win for Austin. We represented Austin in the case, and
Austin, come over here. Sit down next to
we
me.
had a win.
Right now. You don't need that. Just get over here.
Give a video, video endorsement. Sit
down.
Mr.
Scoot the chair.
And who was there for you? Who was there for you in your time of need? It wasn't Justin.
It was Shane. Shane was there for me. I'm not
What
even in
did,
camera.
what did Shane do?
Shane yelled at the other lawyer and called him mean. No, I'm just kidding. The brief story. I had a personal injury case, and I had to fire my old attorney. Hired these guys because they're
Can I
amazing.
ask
Yes.
questions when they pop up in time?
Yes.
So when you had to fire him, was that like you fired him the first time you thought about it, or was there more than one time you thought about firing him?
There was multiple times, and I tried to remedy the situation by trying to
Who
talk
was,
with him.
Who was there for you at that time when this part was happening, Austin?
As a friend was you.
Huh.
But you actually told me to stay with him. You never once were like, leave him or anything like that. You were like, ask him this, see if you can work it out. Yeah. And I only ever talked to an attorney twice, day of the accident, and then once when he didn't even know I was a client of his. And then, and then so I hired you guys. Why? And because I wasn't getting answers, nothing was happening. I was asking for like, hey, my case is bad. Let's get a demand letter sent. Never listened to me, so I fired him, and then he screwed up the case. He made it way harder than it had to be, and so you guys did all the work, had to go and fight against this because he was doing things that were unethical and not very cool.
Did he, now that you've kind of got a better handle of personal injury, do you think that if he had done things differently as far as like sending the things when he needed to send them, do you think it would have either ended your case sooner, so this had already been behind you?
Oh, yeah.
Or B, changed the cap on it?
I don't know if it would have changed the cap because both, I'll be completely transparent. It was a $100,000 case because I had uninsured motorists and the other person had a 2550 policy. So it was $100,000 total. It was the max of both policies.
Sure.
Getting it done sooner, absolutely. Like, I've had thoughts now where like, I hope I never ever get into an accident again. But I know right off the rip, I'm like, all right, well, if I do, God forbid, then I'm going to call you guys, and it won't take a year.
Yeah,
get it taken care of.
I think your case had been going for about 5 months.
It was, I think it was 6.
We talked, and I was like, bro, why didn't he send the demand? Because you told me about the meds and everything, and it was just, I obviously don't know what was happening in his office, so I can't say.
I don't think he knew either.
Well, but here's the thing: a case like that with $100,000 worth of coverage, that's a decent amount of money.
Yeah,
right. That's a case you should pay some attention to. And I'm guessing that nobody in his position or our position would just say, oh, $33,000, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? It's inconsequential because I have all this money pouring out of my ears. I think truly probably what it is there was some sort of an oversight and it was forgotten, would be my guess.
Oh, yeah. Well, the attorney that I talked to on day one, he fired like a month later. He had high turnover. He would fire his attorneys all the time. He didn't even know he was a client. So I knew him personally from my last job. And I saw him at my last job and I was like, oh, hey, how's my case going? And he was like, what are you talking about? He didn't even know I was a client of his at first.
Okay. So slipped through the cracks probably because of administrative type issues.
Definitely.
But either way, it's not acceptable because the person that ends up suffering, and I say that in the sense that like, look, just getting a pin put in this and getting the resolution is its own thing, right? Probably a sense of relief just to have it done, right?
Yep.
So that could have taken 6 months less time.
It could have taken probably 9 months less time.
Probably. I'm just trying to be
legitimately
trying to be generous here.
Like from what it sounds like from hearing you guys talk about personal injury, and even my case when we talked about it, it sounds like with how quickly we were getting escalated in treatment, we would in like 3 months we would have already sent a demand letter.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I just work on a lawyer show and listen to everything they say. But
all right, Shane. So do you want to tell us about the hearing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I went to court. That was fun. I should have filmed it, but I was afraid they were gonna yell at me.
It turns out that's legal as long as you get permission.
Yeah, we can get that maybe eventually. This attorney demanded most of the money from Austin's case too, and said, you guys get bent. You don't deserve anything. And
Was there anything weird about the way that they did things that made it to where they probably shouldn't have gotten most of the money?
There was a lot weird and the judge really questioned this and had issues with this too, where it looked like they had sent a letter that they said that they sent earlier, but after that they got fired.
So Austin fires them.
And they say, oh, we just sent that letter. Whoops. We just sent that demand letter. And then we dig into it because we like to dig into things. And hey, guess what? It looks like you didn't send it until the day you were fired, after you were fired.
Right.
Because Austin's up at all hours of the night. He sent an email at like 1:30 in the morning firing him.
So that would have been Friday night, Saturday morning.
It was Sunday morning, Sunday early morning, and then later Sunday night. There is some real.
Is that against the rules?
That would definitely be against the rules.
Why?
Yes, because you shouldn't. They were just acting in furtherance of themselves, not Austin. They didn't care about Austin.
Do they have some kind of like fiduciary duty or some kind of responsibility to their clients?
Yes, you do. Wow. Yes, you do. So they were demanding a lot of money from us, and we said, "Show us the proof of that." And then the proof of that was just real bad, and it just didn't look good. So we said, you know what? Are you going to take less? They said no. So we had to take it to court. And guess what? the judge said, no, you get less than half of what you're saying you
Bing
deserve.
bong.
So and
Bing
the
bong.
judge had some serious issues and said they overstated what they charged. So
Yeah, I think that was my favorite part about the whole deal. I'm asking questions, but I know the answers to all these. Was that they said they wanted a certain amount of money in an email, right? In the body of the email, it says we need this much money. And then they send an attachment that with attorney's bills, you have to itemize it, right? Like if we're billing $100 an hour and I come up to $1,100, I have to tell you how I got there. Simple math says it was 11 hours worth of work, whatever. Their itemized bill didn't match up, first off, with the number that they gave in the body of the email, which also didn't match up with the hourly rate that was in the fucking retainer. So they're just making stuff up where the rules don't matter and the whose line?
Yeah,
Points.
Points don't matter and the rules are made up. Yeah, where their fucking retainers made up and their invoices don't matter. It was absurd. I've honestly never seen anything like that because, look, are corners sometimes cut that probably shouldn't be cut? Sure, sometimes, right? Maybe I have a piece of paper that I show somebody that I probably ought to give them a copy of, but they got to look at it. We got to talk about it. Don't have the copier with me. Whatever. Would I ever do something so reckless and stupid? Absolutely not. Because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my retainer. I'm going to see what the hourly rate was. I'm going to put that in my Excel spreadsheet. And then I'm going to put the hours in that I actually worked. Because if not, I'm going to get my ticket punched. It's not worth it.
You'd think. Yeah. So I was animated that day. Huh? Austin, most of the times I'm not. I'm pretty relaxed in court, right? That's not a surprise. You're just being a jerk. But that
He's
day,
finally figured me out. It only took 8 years.
I mean, that day I was just worked up, and this has been for months now that we've been pushing towards this. We try to resolve it without going to court, and then we have to go to court, and it takes a little bit. Then we filed a motion, then they asked for more time. And so this was just building up for months, man. And I just
Could you feel the tension?
Oh, I was just so upset because I was like, and the other attorney tried to make analogies. I held off on making an analogy in our motion practice.
Analogies are great. I love
But
them.
it was kind of mean.
What was it? What was it going to be? Tell me.
I said that they were like a kid at the candy store that when they see their sibling have candy, they want candy too. And I was like,
Tootsie Roll's bigger.
I won't write that. And then they came to the hearing and said, oh, this is like the losing middle school team that then blames the refs for foul calls.
It was
Something like that. You go ahead.
he said that it's like, Your Honor, it's like there's a basketball game and the winning team blows out the other side, but then the losing side is saying, oh, but look, their uniforms are bad. It's like, no, but like, it's like saying that, but the winning team like shot like half the other team and was like,
They paid the refs off.
Yeah.
They deflated the ball. They put spikes on
Tanya
the court.
Harding did, half the players, and we're like,
Why?
What Maida? What do you mean I'm not going to get all the money?
Maida. He's a good guy.
But what was funny about that is Shane was saying, he was like, I'm going to do your, which I don't care who did it because I trust both you guys, but he was like, I'm going to do it because Justin is going to be he's going to be too emotional about it. And I was like, damn, what is Justin going to be like that? Because he was like holding back, like screaming at.
I'm going to tell you what I would have said without the expletives that I'm going to put in it right now. I would have called them fucking liars. I would have said they lied and they're trying to steal from a client is what I would have said. And I would have said that they fell below, the negligent standard for an attorney. And if they would have screwed the case up, you would have had the ability to sue them. Because what they did was not in accordance with the general practice in that particular field of law, is exactly what I would have said. But I would have flat out called them a liar. I would have said that they lied to us, they lied to you, and they lied in the motion to the court.
No analogies needed.
None. Fucking liar. On the record.
Here we
which
are
I believe
as winners.
perjury. Oh, that's a crime. When you file an affidavit, which is signed under oath, that's a lie. That's a crime. You can't fucking do that, turns out. Yeah, so I would have been different. I don't know if I would have gotten... We would have both had emotional responses, but his was a little bit different than mine would have been. I would have just said things that you probably shouldn't say in court.
Yeah, so it sounded
I don't
like,
care.
It sounded like Shane was, you could hear it in his voice. Like, I hope we get the footage at some point because
Oh, his voice was shaking. He was about to cry.
like he was about to scream. Like I could hear
Your Honor, please.
like, and it went 0 to 100 real quick. He was like, yeah, so Your Honor. I was like, oh my God, we're getting into it. And I'm
All right.
the only one in the courtroom besides the staff. And I'm like,
Linda, listen. That's Shane.
That was
Her name's not Linda, is it? The judge? No, it wasn't.
No.
I made that up from that little meme of that kid. Can we put that video in right here?
The Listen, Linda.
Listen, Linda.
We possess the technology to do that.
Hell
we
yeah,
can.
I love technology.
But yeah, I just want to say I'm very thankful for you guys. One is just friends, but also as lawyers, being my legal counsel.
Tomorrow, you and me team up for fucking technique. And in the first 5 minutes, I'm gonna go ape shit on you.
Yeah, I know. And I'm going to end up getting hurt and having to sit out again.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna hold you on the ground. I'm literally gonna either take your back.
You crucified me last time.
It's a crucifix.
Yeah, you did a crucifix and then covered my mouth with your... We're talking jujitsu, by the way.
I'm going to either take your back or I'm going to get you in mount and I'm just going to hold you there the entire 5 minutes.
I'll just take a nap.
That's fine. You're just going to sit there like a bitch.
That's the part in the video.
No? Say it out loud. Maybe it'll come true.
I wish my wrist would be free.
Oh, goodness! He got his wish!
No, it was great. We were glad to be able to help you, man. Like I said, from the beginning, whenever you tried to leave him before, I told you that I thought it would help your case. And this is obviously not a self-serving comment because I could have picked you up as a client right then.
Right.
But I was trying to do what was best for your case and for you ultimately. And moving it around could have fucked that up. So
Yeah, I didn't want to leave because
I just wish that he would have done it right.
I was hoping that I could have just... Because I told this attorney to... Well, I didn't even tell them because I could never get in touch with them, but I would tell my case manager or whatever they're called.
Allegedly,
that I was like, hey, I'm being recommended for spinal surgery. Can we put out a demand? I don't know what more. Do I have to get the surgery and then get no money because the surgery's $300,000?
Did you break your back?
Spinal.
I broke my back.
And now I'm going to go fight Jake Paul and get 20 million to do nothing. But yeah, I'm going to let you guys take the show back, but I'm glad I got to say my piece. So if you need good lawyers,
Call
don't call these. No, I'm just kidding. Call these guys.
Yep, we didn't give up for Austin. Took a while, but we're still in the process of it. But the judge gave us an order, but now we got to finalize everything. Litigation takes forever, but
Yep.
it is what it is. All right, back to criminal stuff. Now that we wrapped up some civil case for Austin, we are back to Sarah Boone. We're always back on
Again?
Sarah Boone. It's like we watch this case unfold, and this is the process. This
I'm
is
getting
the time you
sick
have to
of
wait.
hearing of her.
Last thing, okay? She got sentenced.
Good.
She got sentenced. This is a funny sentencing, actually.
I'm sure.
Austin, you're gonna I put in a clip in the notes here, a little short clip.
I forgive George for beating me senseless, for trying to sleep because I had to go to work or my son's field trip the next day, for ruining my deceased family's heirlooms, traditions, and keepsakes, my son's furniture, destroying the television we watched together, for wrecking our townhome by breaking windows, punching holes in the walls and doors, ramming his entire body into glass doors, kicking in my front and back door over and over and over, for breaking or removing the locks from all of the doors and sometimes the knobs altogether, so I had nowhere to feel safe, including the sacred space of my son's room where he beat me bloody on his bed. For terrorizing and threatening my blind and deaf dogs by leaving the gate open I built to keep them safe, telling me he hoped I'd find their bloated dead body in the pond or scrape their remains off of the pavement, for kicking them off of the bed and throwing across the room because they were trying to protect me.
She's just so narcissistic, didn't help herself at all. She was going to get sentenced to life anyway, so it's whatever.
She said some wild stuff.
She said some wild stuff. Her attorney said that she had wrote up even a longer statement, and you can narrative form kind of, your statement before sentencing. And she said, I forgive myself for falling in love with George. So she focused on herself. She forgave herself. I forgive myself for letting him break the stuff in my house. She just focused on herself.
What she was trying to do was diffuse the focus, right? To say, look, he's dead. I get it. I killed him, but he was also an asshole. So I'm
crazy.
not obviously
She's crazy.
the best at being sensitive all the time, But I do know that when you have a dead person, there are certain things that, yes, they might be valid in a way, right? Maybe he was abusive to her. I don't know, right?
They did. They had a history of
And
DVs against each other.
Let's say that he was abusive
Sure.
and it was a bad relationship.
It was.
That's still, you can't say, I did this and I forgive myself for sticking around. That, without saying, look, I stuck around and I shouldn't have. Like, there's a different way to do that I think it makes it sound more genuine. So it's not good. It's certainly not good because it's lacking taste.
It 100% was, and that's what people thought. So she got sentenced to life. Not a surprise. Interesting, in Florida. In Nevada, we have a statute. I don't think we've ever defined what statute means, which was a new word for me in law school. Statutes are your laws in your state, or there's federal statutes. Those are the written laws. Statute is like the official word for law, okay? So these are the written laws. There's a Nevada statute that says that victims of crimes can elect to speak after a criminal defendant who's about to be sentenced, okay? In Florida, she was the last speaker, and that's
Interesting.
state,
Here it always
that's state by state, and you can elect to in Nevada, and I've always seen that because you don't want victims to be singled out by a defendant either, and accused of anything.
I do.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. I'm kidding.
Don't be a jerk.
It's
So
just
typically,
insane, obviously.
the victims, whoever the victim impact speakers are, they're last. So that was unique here. She was the last speaker. Victims had spoken first, so she kind of referenced things that they said too, and she was just focused on herself. It was just crazy. Like, this is just a narcissistic person.
Well, she's never
This
going
is
to
why
get
it's
it, man.
entertaining. She'll never get it. She'll always be the victim, right? This is the same as my buddy Rob Tellis. He's the victim.
Your buddy, your boyfriend, you
My
mean?
home dog.
Your boyfriend, you mean?
My homie. So we'll put to rest Sarah Boone, but I did want to mention that the victim impact statement order was interesting, and we talked about Young Thug and his kind of statement, as he was taking a plea deal, and he did it in such a great way. Listen to your attorney. Your attorney's seen this. Just if people would listen to us more, they'd probably be in such a better place. But
I wish I could do sometimes in court when my clients start talking.
just speak for them.
I obviously a lot of times I wish I could speak for them, but sometimes I want to just tell them to shut up. Or if I can interrupt them and say, "Hey, this was the question that was asked. You're answering something different. Did you mean to answer this question
Yes.
with a different kind of answer?"
Yes.
Okay, well, let's focus on that.
They say you can miss the forest from the trees, right? So
I don't
it's-
even know what that means, but
That
I've heard
means
that
if
saying.
you're so focused on a tree or a tree or a tree, you're not seeing that, hey, there's a forest here. Let's look at the big picture. So people cannot answer questions asked because they're focusing on something. And this is clients in all fields, but we see it in law. They want to focus on just something that they perceive as an injustice that is like, well, the cop didn't read me my Miranda rights.
I love that.
That doesn't matter.
I love it.
Did you use a statement against yourself? Then no. Whether they read your Miranda rights doesn't matter. They took your blood for your DUI. It doesn't matter if you said you drank or not.
I didn't.
If your blood says you drank, that's all they need. Well, they didn't read me my Miranda rights. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. There's misconfusions in the law. That's why you need attorneys to help you out. So,
It's almost like I might know what I'm doing.
Yep.
Watch out.
So I want to talk about a case we talked about off air. Brian Camp. He's from Massachusetts, kind of middle of the state, Massachusetts. So this is going to be where I plug in my hat. Okay.
Let's see it.
I don't
wanna see that
understand.
hat.
I don't understand English because I see a city that is spelled Worcester, and I think, man, that's
Worcestershire sauce.
Worcester, or
It's Worcester.
it's Worcester, Woosocks. Why is it like that? Like when Leicester
It's Leicester.
won the Premier League, it's Leicester.
I thought it was Leicester. Whatever.
Leicester. So
Leicester, Leicester, Leicester,
everybody-
Worcester.
This is the Worcester Woosocks. Okay, so kind of like the Red Sox. You can see he's got fancy socks. This is their logo guy that just looks like the Kool-Aid Man, or what were those books when we were kids?
Oh, yeah.
No, this one, the Circle People. There were books when we were growing up. You know what I'm talking about?
Hank the Cow Dog?
No. Do you know what I'm talking about, Austin?
I got no clue. I mean, I do remember
It's
Hank
like
the Cow Dog.
Little Miss Blue or something like that. I don't know.
Little Miss Sunshine?
We'll have to look it up. But it's beautiful colors. We got yellow. But this is near Worcester, about an hour away.
Mr. Noisy?
Something like that. Yes, those. Yep, whatever that is.
I never even.
Little Miss and Mr. Man.
Little
I
Miss and
never
Mr.
even heard
Man.
of that.
We'll have to look those up. Yeah, you're too poor for those apparently. So big
Wow.
W.
Wow. I mean, you're not wrong, but like,
A book in Kansas?
what a dick, dude. I
Sorry.
had golden books.
Sorry. So this is the Worcester Woo socks. Beautiful colors.
Woo socks.
Hat Club exclusive.
That's the part I don't understand. Like woo sock, like woo shock.
I don't know. It's like Red Sox. It's like a play on Red Sox. I don't know. We'll hang it there.
I love
So
that for us.
Brian Camp was in a relationship with a woman. You know, they're good for
Wow.
him.
Whoa.
Very cool guy. Who had an ex-boyfriend who
He did?
She did.
Oh, okay. I was like, this guy.
his
That's
girlfriend.
more my speed. I love that.
His girlfriend
Get it where you can.
had an ex-boyfriend, and I don't know whose children there were, but there were 2 children in the house. And
Stop.
ex-boyfriend breaks into the home. Okay.
Great.
So this recently went to trial. A big part of this, Brian Camp shot ex-boyfriend. Okay.
For breaking in the house.
Breaking in the house.
Okay, I'm liking where this is going so far.
And then there's an 8-minute gap. Girlfriend's on the 911 call. And then here's another shot. And that is when he dies.
Are they
So-
certain that's when he dies?
So yes, that's what the second shot did him in was what the reports were.
Guys.
So this was
can't.
this was an interesting one. Yeah, no, this went to trial for that reason because there's an 8-minute gap. There was a lot of evidence that came out here. This one kind of got popular with Second Amendment folks and people in Massachusetts. This is more of the conservative area of Massachusetts as well. Because it's not in the Boston area, it's a little more in the mountains, in the forest area. So
Is there mountains in?
I don't know. There's got to be hills or something. I don't know, dude.
There's always hill people.
I've never been to Massachusetts. I should go. So he was found not guilty by a jury of his peers, which a lot of people expected might happen. There were some people going back and forth on this one because of the gap in time. But because he had 2 children in the house that he was trying to protect and he didn't know, what was going on with this guy, he was ordered back into the home by 911 as well to go kind of check it out. And that's accounts for the 8-minute gap. So he went back into the home, shot him again, shot him dead. So this guy ends up dying. They charge him for manslaughter. Austin's going to put in the clip of when the verdict's read. Verdicts are read differently in every state. Ours gets read by just the clerk to the judge. So that's typically who ends up reading these things is clerks to judges. Sometimes it's the foreperson of the jury that does it.
Yep.
It just depends. So this video is interesting because typically the clerk will ask the jury, have you reached a verdict? And in this one, the person says not guilty as the first answer instead of saying yes or no. So
Not quilty.
So it's kind of anticlimactic. They said not guilty and they're like, oh, well, you're just supposed to say yes or no.
Pardon, may I inquire?
You may inquire.
Thank you. What say you, Madam Foreperson, as the jury agreed upon its verdict in Hampshire County Indictment 2380 CR 0032, Commonwealth versus Brian Camp?
Not guilty. Sorry.
You have agreed upon your verdict?
have. Oh,
Yeah, that's okay. If you could please give the verdict up to the court officer.
May inquire.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, as to count 1 of Hampshire County Indictment charging the defendant Brian Camp with manslaughter, is he not guilty or guilty as charged?
Not guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to your verdict as the court will record it. Upon your oath, you do say that the defendant, Brian Camp, is not guilty.
Then yes, we have.
Then yes, we have. And they kind of
Meanwhile, old boy shits his pants.
they chuckle at that point, and then he goes back and says, "Okay, what is your verdict on this count?
Yeah.
Voluntary manslaughter, not guilty." Oh, okay. Like it was anticlimactic in that sense. Sometimes you're standing there and it's like you're waiting, and that's an eternity,
dude.
A moment is an eternity waiting for that verdict to be read. This was kind of.
Oh God.
Actually, now that we're guilty,
Actually, we changed our minds.
We're kidding.
They
can't do that.
We meant
it's
not guilty. Like, yes, we did reach a verdict, but he's guilty.
It's definitely like obviously the most serious one I've ever had was that case we just had.
Yeah. With possibility of life, right?
The possibility of 2 life tales. So not only do you never get out of jail, you die and then you don't get out of jail. Prison, sorry. And I remember that I could tell he was super nervous, and so I reached up and I put my hand on his shoulder. Like, hey, I got you. I'm right here. And then it sat there for what felt like forever, to the point that in my head, I'm like, man, I've been touching this dude for a long time, But I'm just trying to, help him stay calm, because it's obviously...
You can collapse. We've seen, there's tons of videos of people collapsing.
It's tough, right?
His wife, girlfriend, whatever they are, she was close to, having a breakdown.
Meanwhile, she's fully pregnant. It's like, dude, you should just go.
She was freaking out, asking me questions. Why are there additional cops in here? I'm like, because if he's found guilty, they're gonna. Well, do they know? Does that mean he's guilty? I'm like, no, they have no idea. Only the jury knows. It's a sealed envelope. They haven't told anyone. The judge doesn't know. Nobody knows. This is just standard.
Was the second person in the courtroom who wasn't a jury member to see the verdict. Because when she flipped the page up, I was the one that did the verdict form, right? Because when we submit things, we have to submit certain stuff. And so it's a collaborative verdict form. But I had written them to where, I knew it was in the top, it was in the bottom. So I could see that the bottom one was checked. I was like, not guilty. Yes. But I couldn't say that, right? Yeah, I couldn't say anything because it was just the first count.
Okay. The next one we have is a little different. I sent you this video of Philadelphia of a man whose car gets stolen, and they're taking off. The car's taking off, and he shoots. And
a few times, didn't he?
He shot a few times. Must have been a good shot, and got the guy stealing his car as he was going away.
Got him in the head, right?
And he ended up dying in Philadelphia area, in Frankfurt shooting. This was just before Thanksgiving, beginning of November, and the police have decided to proceed with murder charges. So
murder?
Yeah. And it could be under the umbrella of murder when they police open up a case as murder, and then the DA is the one who actually files charges and the counts of those. So there could be, it could be manslaughter of sorts. We don't know yet. And they're going to take their time and look at this and really investigate this. When a murder happens, typically there's a bit of investigation. When a murder of a high-ranking CEO of a large company happens, then there's a huge investigation, as we're seeing now.
Weird how that works.
In a place not too far from Philadelphia.
Did you see it was what was written on the bullets?
Yes, yes. And there's by the time this episode comes out, there will be more. The person's face came out today.
Oh, they actually
actual
found it.
face inside another building and some CCTV. So I'm sure by the time this video releases, we'll have the name of.
It's neat how they really are not wasting any stops. They're figuring out who this guy was. When if it was anybody else, maybe they would have already moved on by now.
Yeah. So
there's Justin's crazy.
No, just let's we keep this, chill.
PC up in
Keep
here.
this PC. We're commenting on the law.
On the law, not our feelings.
Difference between a self-defense shoot potentially and somebody stealing your car. Do you have an imminent sense of danger, of
no
personal harm when somebody's driving off? If they're pointing a gun at you as they're driving off, yes.
Yeah, 100%. It's
that doesn't seem to be the case. We have grainy CCTV footage. Who knows what the defense is going to come up with?
Sure.
But looking at it through our lens,
through a reasonable person standard.
This is somebody driving away that seems like they're taking your vehicle, which sucks. Like that's going to be really annoying and is something that person shouldn't do. But at that point, you do not have a legal basis to be shooting at them when they're driving away, and do not present a threat to you unless, hey, they say, I'm going to run you over.
Even then, it's just like with an assault, right? If I've got the car pointed away from you and I'm driving the other way and I'm screaming, I'm going to run you over with my car.
Even though I'm driving away, I promise I'm going to U-turn.
I'm coming back. You just stay there. Don't go in the building. I'm going to run you over.
Yeah.
Right. It has to,
I have a sniper fixed on you right now. So if you don't move, if you run away.
If you move, my sniper will get you. My uncle, he's a sniper in the, I don't know, like a little kid when you were kids, they were always like, my uncle, whatever. So the thing is, it's an imminent, a reasonable apprehension of an imminent grievous bodily harm or death. That is the general standard for when you can use self-defense. Grievous bodily harm means a significant injury, right? Like, I'm going to put you in a wheelchair. You're going to end up not being able to use an arm. You're going to potentially die. I've got a knife. I've got a baseball bat. Something like this, right? It can't be, I've got a marshmallow shooter, right? And I'm going to shoot you with a marshmallow, and then you plug me with a 45. That's not going to work out in your favor. So for him to be going the other direction in the vehicle, yes. Now, again, I don't know everything, but assuming there was no like kids in the car, he wasn't kidnapping somebody, he wasn't doing anything like that, he wasn't about to run somebody else over, I'm going to say it's going to not work out for him.
Did I send this video to you, Austin? It's in that news article, Austin. Put a note. Put this video in just so our listeners can weigh in as well on whether they think this is a justified shoot. Just one video is a part of the story, but sometimes, there's nothing else except for the video. But there could be more information.
Yeah.
We'll possibly find out. But
I love that for us.
We're always exploring new stuff. Okay.
Love to explore.
Also, hey, guess what might be another justified shooting, self-defense shooting? There was a shooting on the Strip just before Thanksgiving.
They're calling it justified?
Good. No. That's at first what. So if you guys didn't hear about this one, this was in our local media, obviously. 2 Uber drivers that were fighting, having words. Male Uber driver, female Uber driver. Mm-hmm. Male Uber driver showed a gun. Female driver shot that guy dead. That's the short and long of it, right? Isn't it? So that was what came out principally, and then there's always little by little more information that comes out. Who knows what's true and what's not. There's been some reports that female Uber driver was driving erratically, had hit another car, and was fighting, having some road rage with another person.
You know what the good news is? That doesn't matter.
That is how they're trying to paint it.
Well, that's interesting because they're trying to obfuscate the issues.
Yes. So I'm going to guess she's going to get charged with some kind of murder umbrella case, homicidal thing. But we'll see. Whether it's justified or not comes down to the facts. And there will be a lot more information, a lot of witnesses that come out. So...
yeah,
we'll talk more about, there was a choking case in New York City subway. We'll talk about more. We're waiting for the verdict as we're sitting here right now.
Choking. So, that was the dude on the subway?
Yeah.
The Marine
The Marine, yeah. So
kept him in a rear naked for 12 minutes.
Yeah. We'll talk
I'm not
about
laughing because it's not funny.
I'm doing that to you tomorrow.
Huh?
I'm doing that to you tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to keep me in a rear naked choke for 12 minutes?
Yeah.
You have my permission that I'm consenting to that if you can do it. No, I'm just saying, if you can, you have my authority to wait and just go beyond the bell and just straight kill me. And it will not be murder. You can use this as evidence that I'm letting you do it. I'm asking you to do it if you can.
It's recorded video here.
Recorded video.
Not
You're
AI.
Good. You're
Not
free.
AI.
Not AI. Look, ask me to do something.
Show your fingers or toes or something. Isn't that?
These are things and they're finging. Ask me to do something else, like a face or make a hand gesture or something.
How is that not...
Boom, Austin.
How can AI not reproduce that?
They can't do middle fingers. Everybody knows it. It's considered profanity.
It's against the law.
It's against the law.
Computers, AI, artificial intelligence.
I believe the first rule is that they shall not harm humans. His psyche is destroyed now. Anyway, yeah, if you can do that, by all means, buddy, you're allowed. I give you permission. If you can do it.
So we reserve judgment until we get more information on these things. But
Nope. I judge right now. Everything I've heard says that it was a clean shoot.
you're just like every single,
No, I believe
Person
90% of the people right now think that she should be charged with murder.
Yeah.
But
So you're on the other side
based
of that.
on what I've heard, it sounds like a clean shoot. Because look, like we were just talking about with the car, it sucks, but you can't kill him. I agree. However, if someone's trying to come into my vehicle,
Yes.
and it's from all the accounts, he had a weapon on him when he was doing it.
Yes.
I'm not waiting.
I sent you guys. Did you watch that video I sent, Austin? Just
Cut that
like
part out.
Like an hour before this of a New Orleans shoot of a robbery.
Phone call. I did not get to see all of it though.
Austin, make a note. We're going to put that in too because we're talking about justified shoots today. So a store clerk, gas station, whatever, convenience store has two younger kids, teenagers, break in and they're brandishing weapons, point them at them, say, give us all the money, that you have.
Give me every money.
He puts it out on the countertop, and then they go and turn and go look at something else. And this is when store clerk pulls his gun silently and shoots boom, 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 boom at both of them. And then the only question is, did you watch the video?
I'm trying to find it right now.
There's a gap of a couple seconds where it's blurred
Is
out.
this Lowry Shaver case?
No.
Which one is
I
it?
texted it to you.
Oh,
I text you. Sometimes I send you text messages.
I don't read the things you say. Yeah,
Oh,
text message.
okay. Well, there's a couple second gap where he could. We don't know because it's blurred out. Maybe he perceives that this person's grabbing at their gun, so he shoots him again, and that kid dies. He's 15 years old, 16 years old, something like that. And then the 18-year-old
is it?
The 18-year-old kid is in a text with me and this fool.
Yeah, but I can't find it.
Dude.
For some stupid... Oh, never mind. I found it. Hold on. Dude, it's not just pulling it up. It's the problem. All right, now I got to scroll all the way to the stupid bottom. This iOS update is dumb. Thanks, Apple. Fuckers.
That's literally the last thing I texted
I understand that, but I didn't know where the fucking stream was, dude. And now I have to scroll all the way through all this crap.
Just go back into it.
Okay, and look. Now it's gone because I don't know where that is.
Oh, you can search.
I hate you.
You can pin us. Do you pin messages or no?
No, I don't even know how to do that, dude.
Old man is angry at Cloud.
All right, let me watch this real quick. Okay.
Austin put this video in too.
So
It's blurred out.
he's putting a gun in old boy's face with an extended magazine. So that Glock probably has a switch in it. What a switch is, for anybody who wants to know, is it's a device that goes inside the weapon that makes it fully automatic. So where you pull the trigger, it just goes rat-tat-tat-tat. It's illegal, right? It's legal if you have the right paperwork, which is very difficult to get. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this gentleman does not have it.
16-year-old? Would he have the right
No,
paperwork?
he would not
for
have that paperwork.
No.
Turns out you can't even have a handgun when you're 16.
You're not supposed to.
Not well. I mean, you can have whatever you want
Yeah.
because laws are just words on paper. But yeah, you're not supposed to. And then these fools, they've still got their guns. Boom, 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 boom.
Did you see him turn around?
Oh man, he dumped his magazine.
No, not quite. He's got a couple left.
Well, he dropped that one. I watched it hit the ground.
Oh, did he put a new one in? Yeah, okay. I didn't watch too closely.
Oh no, he's gone.
Did
he ran
get him?
away.
The one ran
Oh,
away.
oh.
Did you see him get him again?
Well, he's moving. The guy on the ground's moving. You can see
Okay.
the blur moving.
It's blurred out.
So that's going to be his problem.
He shoots again.
Yeah.
Does he think that, there's a reasonable...
Well, if he couldn't get out that way, the store entrance is over here. If he's trying to get out the store, he looks and he sees the guy acting like he's going for a gun. You're good.
Yep.
So he better be able to articulate that.
So this is happening. This was like 2 days ago. So this video just came out. But 16-year-old has passed away. There's a lot of comments going both ways on this one. This is in New Orleans. So we'll see what comes out with this. At first, they're saying, hey, yeah, no homicide charges, but things can change. Cops can change their minds. DAs can change their minds too.
So that made me think of one that happened in Oklahoma City. Jerome Ursland, he was a pharmacist in Oklahoma City, and two teenagers came in to rob him. And this is in May of 2009. He shot with a Taurus Judge. Do you know what that is?
It's the cheapest little handgun you can
No, no. It's like probably the only cool Taurus handgun.
Oh.
There's
good
It's
Tauruses?
chambered in a 45 long Colt and a 410, which means it's a little cannon. right? Like it's a shotgun shell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that was the whole point, was that they initially built it so that like if I'm sitting in my truck and someone's trying to come in the passenger window, it's going to be devastating at close range.
Man.
So he shot one of the boys, and they were kids. They were juveniles. Then he followed the other robber out of the pharmacy and continued firing, nearly hitting bystanders. Then he walks back in, steps over the body of the kid who's knocked out. He retrieved a second handgun. Then he went back to that kid's body, leaned over, and fired 6 more times into him. So that's the problem that he ran into.
Yeah.
Because everything else, you're in Oklahoma.
He could have disarmed him, right?
Yeah.
That's not the point, but
That's not really the point. He's not parole eligible until he's 98. He's been in prison since 2009. He's currently 71. But yeah, so that's the situation there was that, so his problem, from what I remember, was that he'd been robbed several times. That's why he had 2 guns in the stores, because people kept coming in, kept robbing him. It was his pharmacy. He didn't like it, which is fair, right? I get that. But probably going to have trouble shooting at a kid running away from you, right? Because it gets back to the standard of reasonableness.
you're saying the New Orleans one, or are you talking about Oklahoma City?
Oklahoma City. Those kids, they were clearly still a threat, at least when he first started shooting. When he drops his magazine and goes around the chips or whatever it was and comes back,
Yeah.
you see the kid moving. I don't know what's happening. If he's moving and it looks like he's rolling over, absolutely, light him up. But if he's just like convulsing or something, that's probably not good. It's because, does he still have that reasonable apprehension?
Yeah. What that unblurred video might show might
And what he
tell-
can articulate, because
might tell a big
obviously it's a
story.
stressful moment. If he sees him shaking, he thinks, hey, I thought he was getting back up. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, the initial.
But the pharmacist is what I was talking about.
Okay.
Because like
Yeah,
I shoot
that
the
guy.
one, he goes down, then the other kid runs out, and he's very clearly just running from me. And so I would go out in the parking lot and nearly hit other people as I'm shooting at him, as his back's to me. Not a good look. But certainly when I go back in the store, step over him, grab another handgun, and then fire into his lifeless body, which it turns out he was still alive. He was just knocked out until he got shot again.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so that's bad. That's why he's doing life in prison.
Yeah, they got in the New Orleans one, they have the kid that ran, kind of was closer to the door, got out.
Did he get hit?
They found him.
Because it looked like if he didn't get hit, he came damn close. Because the clerk started with the left and then went to the right, but it looked like it was pretty quick.
Doesn't say. No, and he kind of, I was reading this on a concealed carry kind of group, and they were like
in one of your guns and ammo
didn't have 2 hands, didn't have 2 hands.
No,
on the weapon.
he was doing this.
He just kind of that's not the safest, not the best trained.
Well, it's also from the perspective of,
but he was trying to get both, real quick, I guess, too.
From the perspective of hitting your target and then saving your own life, right? Like if I've got a lethal threat in front of me that I'm trying to stop being a lethal threat, I need to make sure that I put my rounds where they need to go. What's that saying? Slow is steady, steady is smooth, smooth is fast, or something like that?
Something like that.
Something like that. So
Something like that.
whatever. The point being, aim at your target, pick your shots. You don't need to dump the magazine. If you hit him 3 times and he drops, then you shoot the other one. If you still need to. Or the kid runs away and you don't need to shoot him because he realized, hey, wait a minute. Putting myself in a situation where someone shoots at me, not fun.
Yeah. No.
But it sucks, man. And that's the shitty thing about all these. Yeah, we're armchair quarterbacking it, and we're talking it from the perspective of like, I'm putting myself in that position. Like, if it's me or somebody else, I'm going to pick me every time because I want to see my kid, right? I'd love for him to have a dad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a kid had to die here.
Yes.
In both those instances, and that sucks.
And
Even if the kid was making a dumb decision.
They were making a dumb decision by brandishing firearms at a clerk and trying to take money,
And did they deserve what happened to them? No. But did they earn it?
We've said that a few times recently about different things.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and this is back to felony murder, right? If you're committing a dangerous felony,
so now his friend's gonna get convicted of murder.
now
that sucks.
there can be multiple people convicted for this. There can be a felony murder. If this is deemed not a justified shoot,
Second-degree murder.
this could be a second-degree murder.
Or actually, if they want to get real clever, because the Supreme Court of the United States of America has said that the premeditation, although they can't tell like how long it takes, It can be formed in the twinkling of an eye.
Right. Yeah. But
That's literally the language.
I mean, there has to be some desire to want to murder the person. They turn their back, so they're not. I don't know. You could argue that they're
what
not.
What state is it in again?
What's that?
What state is it in?
This is in Louisiana.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
This is in Louisiana.
He's good.
This is in New Orleans, though. Like,
yeah.
this is
it in the 7th Ward?
more liberal area of it. I don't know all the areas of New Orleans, so
I'm just saying there are areas in New Orleans.
New Orleans East West Lake Forest neighborhood. I don't know.
I don't know, but New Orleans is a pretty rough city, and I'm sure that people are not going to be stoked about.
No, I don't think this is a nice area either.
He's going to be all right then.
So I don't know. Like,
He should be anyway.
if you're seeing something like this, then it kind of worries you. So we kind of put that one in. Austin, you gonna convenience video? Yep, you put that in there. I wanted to talk about one, Justin. Austin, you're gonna put up this picture of these altered mugshots, which I thought was interesting. This was out of
The
Oregon.
wrongful conviction one?
No. There's an article here. It
Lori Shaver?
No. Foul Mouth Bandit.
Where's that?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Lori Shaver.
Dude, it says episode 31, December. Oh,
That's next week, dude. I'm ahead of the game.
bruh. I'm an idiot.
People send me stuff.
People don't send me anything.
I know.
It's because people don't like me.
So this is a man by the name of Tyrone Lamont.
10 Minuten mehr.
Tyrone Lamont Allen. He's 50 years old. He was put in he was called the Foul Mouth Bandit. I guess he came in and swore. I don't know. There wasn't any information on that, but this is in the state of Oregon. It was put in a police lineup, and instead of
BBC?
Yeah, BBC article.
Oh, they took his tattoos out.
They took his tattoos out.
No, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
I
dog.
thought you would thought that was interesting. A ton of face tattoos. They kind of altered the photo.
Kinda.
They definitely altered the photo.
They made him look lighter.
The booking photo on the left, the lineup. They added hair, or they made his tattoos look.
They made
like
it look
hair?
like he has hair.
They made his tattoos look like hair.
They basically ran it into a negative. Like, this is stupid. Look at that.
He's gonna put it up on here too.
Well, now I'm putting it up on here. How's
gonna
that?
put it
2
up
times
on
it's
here.
put up.
So, Foul Mouth Bandit had hit 4 banks over the period of 4 days in April 2017.
He's always cursing when he was robbing the banks.
There was he must have been.
Give me the money, motherfucker.
No, I don't know how much you have to say to be the Foul Mouth Bandit. Like,
I mean, I feel like at that point you're committing an armed robbery. Like, you don't probably have too many scruples. Or pardon me, madam. I'll take the money, please. Put this in the bag.
So an anonymous tipster said
My name is Becky.
that he believed that
Katie.
Mr. Allen was the person. Okay,
He's always cussing.
and then bank
He's
tellers
probably robbing banks.
bank tellers were shown a photo lineup and with edited skin to change his skin color, edited pictures to change his skin color and take away his tattoos. So
They're face tattoos. It seems like a pretty big deal.
I agree.
Like,
So-
you and I could look similar, but for a bunch of face tats.
So the funny joke on this, the assistant U.S. attorney, Paul Maloney, argued that Mr. Allen could have applied makeup, cosmetics prior to the crime spree. So it wasn't that bad of a thing for them to do because he could have had makeup.
Could have?
So they applied digital makeup.
Do they have evidence that he did have? Then it is a problem. Paul, you douche. The fuck? Well, he could have got cosmetic surgery. Therefore, we gave him a rhinoplasty and then put him up. Get the fuck out of here. What the fuck are you talking about, douchebag? I fucking hate cops.
They were trying to figure out if it would be admissible to use this photo in trial.
I mean, my gut says no.
You'd think, but
Well, it's
looked
not the same dude. And watch some judge say, you know what, Mr. Wilson? That's just going to be something that you're going to use for robust cross-examination.
yes.
But the problem is that they're so far prejudiced by the time that you're doing robust cross-examination that we want to handle this in our motion work. And you, as the court, just need to have the brass to rule on it in a way that, yeah, sure, it sucks. Somebody who robbed a bank or committed a murder, allegedly, might have their case dismissed. But guess what? The state bears the burden.
Well, he was convicted. This was back in 2021, so
Oh, he was convicted anyway, huh?
He was convicted.
So I'm guessing it's on appeal now?
I don't know, man. I
That's wild.
just think the photos are funny.
They are funny. That's stupid.
All right, we have a little bit of time left. We're going to move some stuff to next week, and we will talk about our
Do you have a
listener question. I did. I found a pretty interesting listener question.
Is it an actual one, or did Hannah just say it?
I found it online.
Oh, okay. Well,
It was
not that I don't appreciate your questions.
It was
Hannah. Don't think like
an
that.
legal question. We're talking about CCWs. You know, convicted felon erroneously granted CCW, later is caught with gun and indicted for prohibited possessor. Okay, this is not me or anyone I know, but I'm following the case. I've got a new one for you. A guy was convicted of some felonies several decades ago. In 2019, he went to apply for a CCW permit, and he didn't list that he was a convicted felon, so he lied on the form.
That's now something you get pardoned for.
Oh gosh, the timing of this. Sorry. The police either don't do a background check or the convictions are sold that they don't show up on the computer. He gets granted the CCW. Then this year he gets into a road rage incident and pulls a gun on another driver. The police catch up to him and pull him out of the car at gunpoint, and they find his gun. They charge him with the road rage assault, but they also indict him in federal court on prohibited possessor. His defense is that he was issued the CCW. The government says that is irrelevant because the statute is black and white. If you have a felony, you can't have a gun. What do you think, Justin?
I think that they're right. I think that there's no intent element here, so it's a strict liability crime. Were you convicted of a felony? Did you then possess a firearm? They're right. That being said, I wonder here. So I'm trying to think. What
We're such good lawyers, we could argue this either way, right?
Sure, but
it's up to a judge to decide.
Right, but what I'm going to argue is that there's a mistake here, right? And it's a reasonable mistake because it's a mistake of fact, right? The fact is, I'm not allowed to have this. If I wasn't allowed to have this, then the government would not have allowed me to have a permit that says I can carry a handgun, right? It seems strange to me. So, like, you hear people that talk about felonies like, oh, it'll be off my record. No, it's always there unless you get it sealed or expunged. But in this case, if this guy waits 20 years and then goes to try to get a CCW and they're like, oh, sure, you can have one. I dare you. Right? No one's thinking that, right? They're thinking, oh, I'm good. It's been long enough. I'm probably fine now. Right? So hopefully this doesn't get to a judge. Hopefully the prosecutor, although it's federal, so it won't, but hopefully the prosecutor does something reasonable. Maybe slaps him on the wrist. Because technically he's in violation.
Doesn't put him in prison. He didn't really do anything.
Well, he did do something. I was all happy to defend this dude in my brain, and then you said he commits a road rage incident. Where
we don't know the facts of this. This could be one person reporting him, and he really didn't do anything. We don't know. This is just
free my boy.
Free my boy.
Didn't do nothing. Rob
didn't do nothing.
Didn't do anything. Free him.
Rob who?
Your friend at the DA's
Tom
office.
Tellis?
No.
Oh.
Steven.
Oh, my buddy.
Your buddy from the DA's office.
My pal. He'll be
Rob Steven.
He'll be on the podcast. Why do you say it like that?
Because of that meme. Steven. Steven.
Steven with the PH.
Steven.
Steven.
Yeah, it's like the little dog that's got like...
I didn't know what you're talking about. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of Tangled Rides. We'll be back next week.
Next time, I'll try not to yammer so much. Sorry that I talk so much, guys. I can't help myself. I was an only child and no one loved me.
It's the Pirate Bowl this week. Raiders play the Buccaneers.
Oh, because I was like...
Raiders and Buccaneers. There's both kinds of pirates.
I'll take things I don't care about for $600, Alex.
Some people love Las Vegas sports. UNLV will be playing Boise State for a chance to play in the college football playoff tomorrow night.
Amateur MMA tryouts this Saturday, Syndicate MMA at noon. Expect to see you guys all there.
Monday. This comes out after that.
Oh.
Then you better have been there.
You better have been there.
If you weren't there,
you're square.
Peace.
Nerd.